Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. There are so many traditions when it's weddings, and so we decided to talk about the history of weddings with Robin Seville, Bride Access, and you've got some interesting things here on the table.
First of all, let me say, I'm just the messenger. Women, don't beat me up today.
Okay.
I know, but there are some interesting old traditions that don't really apply now.
Where did they come from? Right?
Where did they come from?
With the rice.
Rice, for example, was considered a life-giving seed. So when the couple would exit from the ceremony, rice is still thrown quite frequent to see that.
But it's hard on birds.
It's hard, and a lot of churches don't want you doing it anymore either. But it represents fertility. So if it's a life-giving seed, to throw it at the couple, that means have many children, is what that represents.
That's what they were saying.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So,
now people throw birdseed instead of the rice.
You know, you see rice, you see people blowing bubbles, you see
that works.
Rose petals being thrown, a lot of different things. And there's cautions you need to take with every single one of those. Now, jewelry here, or stones, that actually represented if a man wanted to marry a woman, he basically had to buy her. I
read that. That's the dowry.
The dowry, and you would give precious stones. So today we just put a nice ring on a woman's
daughter.
Exactly. So that's where the stones came from. Now, honey, where does honey come from? Well, you hear the word honeymoon. Often, way back hundreds of years ago, when a man decided it was time to take a bride, he would find whoever it was, and he would steal her, basically. And he would steal her. His friends would collaborate with him, and he would go to a secret place. And for roughly 30 days, or all the phases of the moon, he would have her, and they would have her brew a type of drink that had honey in it. So because of the moon and the phases and the honey, we came up with the name honeymoon.
I had no idea.
But that was more like a kidnapping in a cave, and she wanted to escape.
Well, can you imagine, like, the parents with shotguns by their daughter's door saying, you're not leaving anywhere?
That's why I say I'm just the messenger, I'm just sharing. Now, an interesting one is, why is your wedding ring on that finger?
I don't know if I've ever
thought about that?
No.
Well, Marty, hold up your hand.
Okay.
Typically, there's two different reasons. The Egyptians believed that there was a vein that went from this finger to your heart. Really? And it meant that it was a direct line of love, that love was everlasting. Now, going back a few hundred years in Europe, they believed that the groom would take the ring, put it partly on the thumb, take it off, put it partly on the index finger, then put it partly on the middle finger, then on this finger, and those first three fingers were the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
No.
And then the next in line was
Do they ever do that
finger.
ceremony still?
I haven't seen it.
That?
I haven't seen it. That's kind of a neat one, isn't it?
I like that one. What about the bridal shower?
Well, this is where the parasol comes in play. If a father was against his daughter marrying a certain man, the town would throw an event or give gifts to the bride.
And then the father would be more psyched about it?
The father probably wouldn't be too happy with the town either. And that goes back to Holland. But then about 1890, they would have a party for the bride-to-be, and they'd put gifts underneath the parasol, thus showering the bride with gifts.
A wedding shower.
Yeah.
What about the bouquet? Because we always throw them.
I'm going to have you hold that for a second.
Beautiful.
Now, this isn't, I'm not making a statement here.
This is a real pretty one.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? That brown floral gave us that today. They've made that up. Thank you so much, brown floral. But going back a few hundred years ago, bathing was considered a luxury. So a bride would often hold those flowers. I'm sure.
Go like this,
Yeah.
Whatever. All right, now I smell good.
So you're right on track. It was considered that would help cover the stench of not bathing.
Oh, especially when you have to have the wedding night later. Yikes.
Yeah. So, but
Yikes.
He probably didn't bathe either, so I don't know what he did to cover that up.
Well, then she may be like, anyway, sweetie, love you.
Yeah.
I'm going to rub this all over you, too.
He thought she was just being romantic, probably, when she was sprinkling flowers all over him. So,
I know. Is that where foreplay came in?
Maybe that's how it started.
Just wondering.
Right,
that smells so good, though.
Okay.
When it comes to weddings, I like this.
Yeah, now what does that represent? Well, I'll tell you. Let me hold that. Again, going back several hundred years ago.
That's for the girl that was stolen that didn't want to be.
No, you're right on. Often when a man thought it was time to take a bride again, he would find whoever that bride was to be. He would steal her, basically. He would invite his best man. This is where best man came in. Usually the strongest man. When he was taking that woman, he would have the best man, and they'd have swords to fight off the family and friends so that they couldn't come back and get her. Now, he would find a secluded place. The best man would stand guard with a sword at the door and would stay there until, basically, as tradition says, till she became pregnant.
Oh, my goodness.
And during the ceremony, he would hold her hand with his left hand, and the right hand he would be ready to fight.
Okay, I'm glad that women have come a long way since then.
And that you have choices.
Hopefully men have come a long ways too. So those are just a few of those traditions of where they came from. And there's some different stories with all these different elements, but those were definitely some of the more interesting ones.
So interesting, Robin. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you so much. Bride Access on our channel all the time on weekends.
Very good.